You're watching KLTX, Channel 15, serving the city of Lufkin.
The Lufkin Police Department is graduating its second Clergy and Police Alliance class. Today we learn more about this unique program from some of its newest members. If you plan on registering for upcoming classes at Angelina College, listen up. There is a new, easier, and more convenient process in place. Angelina College's Dean of Student Services joins us to tell us more about how to register for future classes. And we bring you the latest events and news information from Lufkin City Hall. Hi everyone, I'm Yana Ogletree and welcome to this edition of City Hall Update. The 2016 Atlantic hurricane season forecast has been released, and it predicts that there will be a greater risk of storms and hurricanes this year. A total of 12 storms, 5 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes are expected this season. As the season approaches, the City of Lufkin's Emergency Services stands prepared to handle any natural disasters that may affect our city. However, you are also encouraged to make your own preparations. You can find a suggested list of hurricane home supplies on the city's emergency management page. It is recommended that residents have at least 3 days worth of supplies on hand. The Kurth Memorial Library is making plans for this summer's reading program. The Family Summer Reading Program begins June 6th and runs through August 12th. This year's theme is Vote for Books. Children and teens will get to experience the election process throughout the summer by voting for books. Participants will be separated by grade level. A small selection of books will be listed for each group to vote on during the primaries. Debates, posters, buttons, and campaign commercials will be created by the children in the program. Winning candidates will be announced at the end of the summer. Now be sure to check the library's webpage at the city's website for a list of all the activities for this summer's exciting campaign. Here's a sure sign that summer is on its way. The spray play pads in Jones, Chambers, and Kiwanis Parks are now open. Operating hours are from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is a great place to have a birthday party or just cool off from the heat. The spray play pads are free to the public. If you wish to use one of the nearby pavilions, contact the Parks and Recreation Department to make your reservation. If you're looking for a job this summer, look no further than the Parks and Recreation Department. Currently, the city is hiring 4 lifeguards and a pool supervisor for Jones Pool. Now, as you may recall, the city has had its challenges hiring these particular positions in the past several years, which forced the city to keep the pool closed. If you're interested in these job opportunities, contact the Parks and Recreation Department for details. Here's a reminder that the city offices will close May 30th in observance of Memorial Day. Residents who normally have their garbage collected on Mondays will have it picked up on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Tuesday's trash collection will be on Wednesday. Recycle pickup will be as normal. The Pines Theater in downtown Lufkin is the place to enjoy a classic movie or live entertainment. On May 28th, you are invited to experience high-kicking action as the Pines presents The Karate Kid. Then, on June 3rd, Kicks 105 offers the high-flying adventure Top Gun as another movie in its monthly $5 film series. On June 25th, the Pines brings back the epic favorite Gone with the Wind. All showtimes are at 7 p.m. All movie listings and ticket information can be found at thepineslufkin.com. And if you're interested in having your next meeting or special event at the Pines, visit the Pines website or call 633-0279 to learn more about renting this historic facility. Be sure to keep track of all the Pines activities on its Facebook page or follow them on Twitter. The Angelina County and City's Health District wants to remind you of the new WIC clinic now open in North Lufkin. Sponsored by the Impact Lufkin Initiative and the TLL Temple Foundation, the new clinic is located at 105 Lofton Street near the Kurth Drive underpass. The WIC office is open the second Wednesday of each month. As the clinic grows, the district will consider expanding its hours of operation. The Lufkin Police Association is hosting a free throw championship for boys and girls ages 9 through 14. The event will be held Saturday, May 21st at the Haas Athletics at 2109 West Frank Street. Participants will compete for door prizes, trophies, and medals. The association is asking for a $10 registration donation per contestant. This donation helps the association hold community events, sponsor scholarships, make charitable contributions, and support local law enforcement officers. You can get registered for the event at lufkinpa.com. CHI St. Luke's Health Memorial invites you to its monthly Women's Power Lunch, Wednesday, May 25th from noon to 1 p.m. Everyone is welcome to attend this free information sharing luncheon. The luncheon is designed to educate women on a variety of health-related topics in a fun and relaxing atmosphere. For more information or to make a reservation, please call Lindsay Mott at 936-639-7613. Reservations are open to the first 125 participants. It's a summer tradition you won't want to miss. I'm talking about the annual Neches River Rendezvous, hosted by the Lufkin Angeline County Chamber of Commerce. The Neches River Rendezvous is scheduled for June 4th. You are invited to paddle the 10-mile trip down the Neches and experience the sights and sounds of nature. A delicious hamburger lunch is served following the trip, and free shuttle service is provided to and from the river. You can register online at lufkintexas.org, or you can stop by the chamber at 1615 South Chestnut. There is a limit of 300 participants, so get your registration in soon. It's also time to start thinking about summer camp. One of the first camps to begin this summer involves putting the creative skills of young minds to work. Art Camp at the Museum of East Texas includes classes in a wide variety of media taught by professional artists. These classes are open to children ages 3 to 14 and adult ages 15 and up. Weekly classes begin May 31st and continue through the week of August 15th. For more information and to get registration forms, visit metlufkin.org or call the Museum of East Texas at 639-4434. Another camp to consider is Angelina Beautiful Clean's Eco Camp, which takes place June 9th through the 13th. Offered to students kindergarten through 4th grade, this fun-filled environmental summer camp is packed full of buggy ways to be clean and green. Participants will learn about litter prevention, recycling, and beautification through games, music, art, storytelling, and science. For more information, visit angelinabeautifulclean.org or call 63-CLEAN. And here's a new camp for those kids who may be a bit more dramatic. It's called Kids Act, a drama workshop brought to you by the Angelina Community Theater. The camp takes place June 20th through the 30th from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. with a performance the evening of the 30th. Students will develop acting and technical skills, perform a musical, make new friends, gain self-confidence, and of course, have fun. For more information and to reserve a space, visit Angelina County Theater at yahoo.com. You can also visit the site to help sponsor a student for this season's camp. Local clergy are earning their police stripes and experiencing some of the daily challenges police officers face in the line of duty. The Clergy and Police Alliance, known as CAPA, has a new graduating class. The class members, comprised of spiritual, civic, and lay leaders, learn about all aspects of the police department in a 10-week workshop. Today we have two of the latest graduates to talk about their experiences in the CAPA program. I'd like to welcome Kendrick Morris to the show. Kendrick is the pastor of Harvest Family Worship Center here in Angelina County. And thank you for joining us to tell us about your experiences through the CAPA program.
Well, thank you, Yana, for having me. And I consider myself fortunate to be a part of this year's CAPA class. And I think it's been great. It's been an eye-opening experience, and it's really opened my eyes to what our PD officers have to experience on a day-to-day basis. And I like to start out by saying how great these gentlemen are.
Absolutely. What made you decide to join the CAPA program?
Being in the church, we have an awesome opportunity to share with our people and educate them on not only spiritual things, but also cultural awareness, social interactions, and just perspective on life. And as we all know, there's been so much talked about through media about PD officers interacting with civilians. And I think a lot of it has been kind of blindsided and biased, and a lot of sensationalism going on. And when I heard about the CAPA program and was invited to become a part, I thought that it would be an excellent opportunity to get a hands-on, up-close view of kind of the world through the eyes of our officers. And I can tell you, as much as I thought that I was aware, I believe that I was completely in the dark until I had a chance to kind of walk in their shoes, not totally, but even just in this aspect with going through the training and getting a chance to ride along with the officers. And I'm telling you, it has just been a real awakening.
So they put you in a couple of scenarios to see how you would react. Tell me about that.
Well, I'll tell you about how I reacted. It's not necessarily the way that we're supposed to react. I'll talk about the traffic stop first. We think about traffic stops as being kind of annoying for us, but we don't realize how dangerous it is for the PD officer, whether it's daytime, whether it's nighttime, whether it's a simple situation, or whether it's an escalated situation. To make a long story short, they had me on the training grounds with a traffic stop, routine, might I say. I approached the vehicle, asked the gentleman to roll down their windows and trying to make sure that they weren't armed or see their hands. When I did that, Officer Paul Jackson jumped out of the car and took out running and made some kind of gesture, as if, maybe he was going to pull a weapon or something on me. And I guess in the heat of things, I pulled out my firearm and ended up shooting him. Well, I know my life.
Of course, we're playing like we're shooting.
And I will say,
in case someone just joined us.
That's right. And I will say they take us through live fire training, which uses the airsoft pistols. Now they are airsoft pistols, but it's nothing soft about the sting. It does inflict a little pain. As a matter of fact, I think it drew a little blood through my shirt.
Oh. Okay, so you shot the officer during the scenario.
I did. In all of the commotion, I kind of feared for my life.
Yeah.
But it really showed how the officers have to be masters at making decisions in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Trying to protect the life of the individuals, as well as making home to see their families that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is the other incident or scenario that you were in that you were just referring to when you got shot. How did that play out?
Well, the scenario was...
You were the officer.
I was the officer. There was a gentleman at the mall. He was urinating in public. I approached the gentleman and asked him to, fix himself, get himself back together, and to leave the premises. The gentleman was totally compliant. And he raised his hands. He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "No problem." The gentleman turned to walk away. I was still watching the gentleman because, as you know, they pretty much play up the scenarios to the most extreme situation. And as he was walking away, he calmly turned around, pulled out a gun, and shot me right in the chest. Now, Yana, I know that this was simulation. It was airsoft pistols. But when it kind of drew blood through my shirt, something just kind of came over me. Because I said this could be a normal day, a normal Monday, a normal Tuesday. It could be 9 a.m. in the morning. And I'm on the job thinking I'm having a great day. And this seemingly simple situation has just turned deadly. And I kind of thought right there in that situation, I thought about my wife, I thought about my kids. I thought about if this was a real situation, I could be dead right now. Needless to say, my eyes were really opened to the danger that these PD officers face every day that sometimes we take for granted.
Yeah, you know, when they leave the house in the morning, they don't know what the day holds. Well, we all don't, but they are definitely in harm's way.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like you said, as simple as a traffic stop, domestic violence calls. You know, there's so many things. Okay, so now you've learned all of this, and you really can appreciate what police officers do every day, day in and day out. So what do you do with that information?
You share it. You share it as much as you can. I have at my church, with my friends, with my families, I'm very proud to tell them that I'm a part of the program and to share with them the other side of what the officers see. One of the officers used a term that they have to stay in a state of hypervigilance, not just to protect themselves, but to protect others. And, you know, as a matter of fact, this Sunday after our service, myself and a group of gentlemen and others, we were talking, and I was sharing with them about the program. And I think it was really rewarding because when I shared these same scenarios with them, they sat and they looked at me and it was like, you know, wow, you know, man, I didn't realize they went through all that. You're right, all these things we see on TV, but there's always another side to the story. And I think that right there, I think that was success.
Yeah. And you often wonder why people run. I mean, you've heard so many cases where they're like, why did they run? You know, when the officer's telling you to stop, and then they run, and then it turns ugly. So I think there were some other experiences, you know, that you've learned from that as well. You know, that if to take that message, you know, if you would just abide, you know, listen to the officer, or a lot of things could be avoided. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree, yeah. And funny that you would bring that up. One of the officers helped us to really understand their perspective. One thing he said at night, for instance, routine traffic stop. And when the officer comes up to the window, he's shining a flashlight in the window. Sometimes we may think that that's unnecessary. Sometimes we may think that that's annoying. But he let us know when we're coming up to that car and we put that light in a person's face, that's acting as a shield from us, for the officer. Because if that person can't really see where they are, granted, the majority of citizens are law-abiding, but for those who have some other intentions in mind, that gives that officer a very slim, how should I say, buffer of safety for that time. And so I shared this with these gentlemen. I said, hey, look, you know, the officer's not trying to be mean. He's trying to, number one, do his job, and number two, make it home safely. So if he asks you to step out of the car, if he asks you to put your hands where you can see them, you know, it's not personal. And Yana, I'm kind of straightforward. It's not about race. It's not about gender. You know, it's about, excuse me, it's about being able to perform their job. I believe that there's a special calling to do what they do. I'm a pastor. Everybody says that they can't do that. Well, as a pastor, I don't believe I could be a PD officer. It takes a special person cut from a special cloth to do that. And
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's with any career.
That's
know?
right.
But you're absolutely right. You know, the officers, you know, it is a special calling. They have a big job to do, and the more people understand, like you were just saying, They have to do these things. They don't know who you are when they come up on you. They don't know if you're a law-abiding citizen or if you're not. So absolutely, 100%, they have to protect themselves and they have to do their job.
That's correct.
But I'm glad that you survived your experiences in the CAPA program, and so I hope that you will go back and continue to share that information with your congregation and your friends and perhaps your colleagues who might be considering going through the program, as it is very, very worthwhile and such an eye-opener, like you said.
Well, I'm definitely already recruiting the assistant pastor at our church. I'm pushing him. I'm saying, hey man, look, you have to go through the next class. And I think it would be so helpful. And I'm very excited to get a chance to ride with the officers after the program is completed, to be able to go out into the community and help them, and being able to be a liaison between them and some of the civilians. So I'm excited about it. I think it's been a program that's been worthwhile, and I hope that it stays around a long time after this.
Kedrick, thank you for joining us on City Hall Update and sharing your experiences with the CAPA program.
Thank you, Yana. It's been a pleasure.
The Deep East Texas Council of Governments, or DETCOG, has chosen its new president. Lynn Torres, who is also one of our city council members, was selected as president last month at the organization's monthly meeting. Lynn is with us today to talk about her new responsibilities and how DETCOG serves our area. Lynn, welcome to City Hall Update, and congratulations on your new role, upcoming role, with DETCOG as the new president.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
A big job to take on, but no doubt you've been on the board now for 10 plus years. And it sounds like something you can tackle easily.
Well, thank you. I am the city representative to DETCOG and have been that for over 10 years. One of the things that I'm excited about is that I will take office in June of this year. I'll actually be sworn in the meeting in Nacogdoches, and then we'll go forward with a new year and trying to get DETCOG back on course.
And one of the action items is to hire a new executive director, correct?
Correct. We are currently in the application process, so we've had a lot of submissions. Wes Suter and the former officers, or still to this day the officers, until June, are taking care of some of the interviewing and reviewing those applications and so forth, and we hope to attract a very highly qualified candidate who's going to be the best fit for DETCOG. I personally won't serve on the interview committee, but I will have the pleasure of working directly with that new director when he takes office, and it's going to kind of be that we coincide our office taking. Hopefully he'll be hired in May, and we'll get his feet wet or her feet wet, and we'll start working together in June. So
DETCOG's been around for a long time.
It has.
It's truly made an impact on the East Texas area. There are probably some people out there who really don't understand what DETCOG is. Can you give me a brief summary?
I can. You know, it was confusing to me when I took over too, but basically there are 24 councils of governments in the state of Texas, and DETCOG, we're called the Deep East Texas Council of Government, is one of those 24. These are voluntary organizations. They're very, very unique in that they unite city officials, county officials, they unite ISDs, they unite soil and water conservation districts, they also are river authorities, you name it. They come together voluntarily to become a funding source for federal funds and for state funds to pass down to the different entities.
So it all flows through a DETCOG?
It all flows through a DETCOG, and as I said, we're one of 24. Our DETCOG region covers almost 9,700 miles, 12 counties. We range, Nacogdoches is the most northern county, all the way down to Trinity County, Woodville, that type of area, and then over to Houston County, as I said.
And obviously there are representatives from all of those counties.
There are representatives for all those counties on the board. They have a certain number that each one of those counties can submit, and it's a mixture, as I said, of the Trinity Valley River Authority, county officials, city officials, you name it, we're kind of a mix. And then in areas where we don't have have maybe adequate representation for all of our ethnicities and our diversity in our area, there are minority representatives who are elected to serve on the board. The board then has an executive board, which consists of the officers of the board, and they run the meetings and they work with the directors. So it's a pretty unique thing. There are various services. We have services for the aging. We have criminal justice grants. We have solid waste grants. If you can imagine, we are probably, with the exception of one COG in the Valley, one of the most rural COGs in the state of Texas. And there are lots of ways that these rural counties can't get services like solid waste. There are economic development grants that are given. There are forgivable loans that we can process, and we can work with you as a business. There are also emergency preparedness. We are the agency who is charged with helping people recover from natural disasters, so forth.
Yeah, and I know we had talked off camera that there is still actually funding left from Hurricane Ike.
We are still in Ike 2.2, which means we're in the second round, the second version of that, to award people help in recovery if they've lost their home or they suffered damage in Ike. And keep in mind that Ike happened in 2008, so it's taking us a little bit of time to go through all of the processes and the government regulations to give this. Actually, the overseeing agency has just changed, so it's now passed to the General Land Office. So one of the things we had to do was wait for them to get their feet wet and do the research on what had been done, and to make sure that we were doing it correctly. And now we have about $1 million still left to distribute from that grant. We have several active applications, or applications are still available to do that.
Okay, so you can still apply.
You can still apply because
Wow.
we've not expended all of that $1 million.
It looks like that would be difficult, though, back from 2008. Hopefully you have something, you know, you've had your home repaired, you know.
Well, I would hope.
8 years later.
8 years later, I think you would have to, but there are still other services that, you know, and now it gets harder and harder to prove that it was the result of the 2008 storm. But anyway, it's frustrating to do that. We also handle the 911 for the 12 counties, and most people don't know, but if you live in an urban area, you know, there's always a little charge on your phone bill that goes toward 911.
Right.
If you live in Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, those types of things, those funds go immediately back to the city or the county in which they're collected. For the rest of us in the state, if we're not in an urban area, all of that 9/11 surcharge on your phone bill goes directly to the state. And we fought for many years to have it returned to the counties in which it was collected so that we can upgrade our 911 system. And you can imagine in rural counties how difficult it is to make sure the addresses are correct and so forth, so we really need those funds to do that. And luckily we have them now. So.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Right.
I thought it had come back.
It had, but it wasn't until just recently that it has come back, and we have someone in charge.
Something that DETCOG has gotten behind.
Right, and supported and made sure, just because you need to provide services to the rural counties. You also have the new 211 system, which most people aren't familiar with, but you can dial 211 and get immediate information about health and human services opportunities or services that are provided in your county.
So that's live now?
Yes,
Okay.
that's live now, and we're working on that, and so we have a lot of people obviously that need to use that number. We have services to at-risk youth. We have criminal justice grants if jails need to be upgraded and so forth, and then we go all the way down to retired senior volunteer program that is overseen by DETCOG. So lots of opportunities and lots of different pots of money.
Yeah, a lot of programs. I didn't realize that DETCOG had so many programs, and I know you just scratched the surface, but what you've shared with us today. Can someone visit your website and learn more about what DETCOG has to offer?
They can. They can go to detcog.org, and that, of course, is the Deep East Texas Council of Governments, and there's all kinds of information about our services, and there are also applications for all of those grants and for assistance in there. And so the staff stands ready to help too. So there are also phone numbers if you need to contact the staff in Jasper directly. We do have some staff who serve here in Lufkin, but the main office is in Jasper right now.
Okay, very good. Lynn, thank you for joining us. I don't know how you find all this time in your schedule. Working for the school district, city councilwoman, now upcoming president for DETCOG. I just wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you. You just have to stay organized and take one day at a time.
I guess so, absolutely.
So thank you,
Thanks
Yana.
for joining us.
No problem. Glad to do it. Thank you.
As Angelina College students finish up their spring semester, some are already looking ahead to fall classes. However, students need to be aware that the registration process is changing. Students can now register for Summer 1, Summer 2, and Fall semester classes. To explain this further is Dean of Student Services with Angelina College, Steve Hudman.
Steve, welcome to City Hall Update. A lot of exciting things happening at Angelina College. Just recently you all have received a new president.
Right.
And then we just celebrated Dr. McKenzie's retirement.
Sure.
And so now we're moving straight ahead and talking about summer classes and fall classes, and you can register online and do it 100%, right?
Right. I think one of the things, being the Dean of Student Services, enrollment is something that just, that's always in the discussion no matter what point of the year you're in, whether it's the end of the academic year, the beginning, the middle, it doesn't really matter. Enrollment is always what comes up in the conversation that kind of drives Angelina College, if you will. And the extra things that we would like to do and some programs that we would like to implement, enrollment, it's very heavily enrollment driven. So, but yes, you mentioned web registration. That's something we actually implemented for the first time at Angelina College in October of this past fall, 2015. One of the things that we identified were students that were ready from a standpoint. We ran a filter, created a report of students that were ready to register themselves online and help, in a sense, instill a sense of responsibility, but a sense of ownership in their education as well, to where we would allow them to register online. And essentially, everyone in the beginning was set to what we call a default no to web register. So after identifying that group of students, which came out to almost 3,000 students that would be able to register online, we flipped the switch to yes on October 22nd, 2015. And it's interesting. We were excited with the results. We almost shut down our server for our website. After that, students waiting till that 12 midnight. Yeah, they were very, very excited. We had over 600 students register that first day online, so it's been well receptive. We did it again in the spring for spring registration, and it's going
working
very well.
So how do you know if you're eligible to register online?
Well, one of the things, if you're an existing student, you just go to your AC portal. Once you log into your AC portal, with your username and password, you can log in, and if you look on, there's a place over to the left that will show web register. It'll be a web register section, and it'll either be set to yes or set to no. There's some criteria that have to be met. TSI complete, you may have to be a little bit further along, a second semester student potentially after completing the new student orientation online. There are also, you may have to be a part of a particular degree program. There are some degree programs that are relatively complicated with prerequisites that the associate deans and directors, they would rather them see an advisor to come in to essentially get registered for each semester, so they make sure that they are on track to complete with that specific program.
Well, so you take out 600 kids from actually going to the campus. That's a huge help.
Yeah.
I know that you all appreciate that.
Oh, and that was one of the things, especially when I was interviewing this last April. One of the questions that had come up, what do you think about arena registration? It was labeled arena registration. That mass just coming in all up on campus and into the cafeteria, standing in line. A lot of the data that we were receiving was long waiting periods of time, waiting in line to just be told that you're going to have to go to a different location on campus, and sometimes the average wait was anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. I've even seen some that were up to 2 hours. So we made it a really, really big priority to create and lessen that wait time. Staff did a great job. The registrar's office, the academic support services office did a great time coming together and streamlining a lot of those and essentially redesigning the arena, what was been formerly the arena registration, but creating more of a triage center out front. We hit the students when they first come in, and then we identify their holds and their needs and where they need to be in the process, and we send them to that area specifically to take care of those responsibilities prior to sending them to be registered. And it created a wait time of this, I believe on the student surveys, they just come out. Average wait time was around 20 to 30 minutes. I think we might have had one that had to do a little bit longer
Well, that's great.
without anything, without coming in without any kind of paperwork or anything like that. So it has expedited the process. Students were a lot more satisfied. Faculty and staff were just ecstatic with the results.
You know, though, I don't know if students really understand how good they have it now, because I remember when I was back in college, which
Sure.
was just a few years ago, but I remember it was a day-long process, and of course we didn't have anything online back
Right,
then.
right.
So yeah, there's a lot of convenience out there now
Sure.
compared to kind of my generation.
Right, right. Even in the early 90s, I guess, when I was going through it, we didn't even have the necessarily the mass registration. We could call in on the phone. Of course, the internet was not there at the time, but you could call in on the phone. Freshmen, juniors, and seniors all the way through had a specific day that they could begin to register. And nowadays, yeah, I mean, that was one of the things the students had mentioned that as a positive feedback, that she didn't even have to step on campus until the first day of class. So yes, in the busy go, immediate results world that we
Yeah.
live in, society, it's where we're going. We're getting more technological. We're not getting less technological. So we just need to make sure we're attempting to do everything to keep up with that pace.
So talking about enrollment, what does it look like for this going forward?
Right now, I would call we're level. We're kind of hitting the same numbers here and there. We're going to do a little bit bigger focus on the marketing aspect of things. Dr. Simon he wants to create. He realistically thinks we could be potentially 6,000 students over the next 2 to 3 years, and I agree with that. There's not much of a what you would call a marketing plan that's in development right now. We're doing some creative things on the marketing side to generate just some ideas, not only here in Lufkin for the main campus, but on our offsite centers, in Livingston or Polk County, Crockett, and then Jasper as well, and of course the new center that's opened up in Nacogdoches. So, I mean, there are so many ways, and we're trying to create more avenues and more accessibility to students, and it should see some pretty significant growth in the next few years.
What is the current enrollment?
Current enrollment is around 5,200.
Okay.
We're steady there. The biggest portion of that, a lot of it is concurrent students. Students that are in high school right now, and
Yeah.
they're taking
Well, that's a fabulous
education.
program.
Well, it really is, and it's a way to get some of those credits knocked out and kind of two birds with one stone, if you will, getting high school credit versus college credit. And then I know my oldest son went to. He's a freshman in college this year, and he went in with 30 plus hours
Yeah, I
and
was going to
knocked
say,
out. So
yeah, that is wonderful.
it's a benefit to the students, and
He wasn't a freshman for long.
no, not at all. As a matter of fact, I think he's now academically a sophomore. So we shall see. And those colleges are not getting any less expensive. So
No,
and
it's
community
not.
college is a great
But
place to start.
I was going to say, Angelina College
Yes.
is, we've heard that for years, and it's so true that it's the best value.
Oh,
It's for the first 2 years.
Right, and
And
that's
there's so many advantages
right.
to going to Angelina College.
You bet, and it's again that statement when we first, that little slogan that we have. It's a great place to start. It is a great place to start. It's a great place to finish as well, with the associate's degree, and then the certification programs that we offer
Yeah, love
are
those.
so many that we can so many ways that we can help out, no matter what level of education you're currently obtaining, whether it's you're a true freshman coming in, or if you're somebody that's been in a career for a while and you want to come back and hone the skills that you might need to help you in that career, whatever it might be. Angelina College is a great place to be, a great place to start, but it's also the community supports, and they do see the benefit and the value, and that's one of the things I think attributes to the tremendous success that Angelina College has, is the community and the backing that they've put into
Absolutely.
it. So.
Well, Steve, thank you for joining us.
Not a problem.
I
Appreciate
think
you
if
having
you
me.
would, I think the web address is angelinacollege.edu,
It's
right?
Angelina.edu.
Oh.
Yes.
Don't listen to me. It's angelina.edu.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you're curious about seeing if you are eligible
You bet.
to register online,
You
go
bet.
to angelina.edu and check it out.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
That's all for this edition of City Hall Update. We appreciate you joining us and hope you will tune in again to get the latest information about the city and the surrounding area. I'm Yana Ogletree. Have a great day.